Now we're going to take a look at deleting complete database tables themselves. I mentioned when we covered deleting fields that you don't often have to do that task. And when we talk about deleting tables, well, that's even more infrequent. But you may have this requirement, so let's go through it so we can understand the process. The first thing is you will only be allowed to delete your own customer-specific tables. You will not be allowed to delete SAP delivered tables. Now, because we have just created this Z-Employees 3 table, we will use this in our example for deleting the table. But before that, I just want to show you a technique for checking that everything is okay for you to delete the table and you will not affect other parts of the system. So what I'm going to do is go back to our Z-Employees 1 table, because we have included this table in the ABAP programs we have created so far. So what I've done, I've keyed in Z-Employees 1, I'll choose display. Oh, it looks like that's the wrong one. Must be Z-Employees. There we go. I will step back. And now what I'm going to do is go to this button up here, the Where Used button. Now this is a really handy tool that you will become familiar with and you will use an awful lot whilst you are developing, testing and just reading ABAP programs. So if we click the button, the system then brings up a dialog box where we go through and choose the objects we want to look through. So what this is going to do is check all the different types of objects that we have in our system that we select for a reference to our table Z-Employees. Now we know we have only used this table in a program before, but with other tables you may not have that background knowledge. So you may want to go through, have a look at objects such as structures, database tables, views and so on. And to execute it, just click the green tick. Get a little pop-up, where used include, fields to the table, we'll just choose yes. So the system's going away and checking all the different objects that we have selected to find references to our table. And there it's come back and it's shown us we have 2 programs that are using this table. So immediately we know that if we delete this table, these programs are going to become inactive. They're not going to work anymore. If you want to look at the specific code in the table, all you need to do is double click. So by double clicking on this entry, it's then showing the snippets of code in our program where the table is used. And we can see we have lots of selects and write statements. And once again, we can double click on any one of these lines and actually jump straight into the program. There we go, and it takes us to the exact location that we double clicked on. Program down here, exactly the same thing. We can double click and go have a look at the program. So this Where Used button is a very useful tool, and I suggest you get used to using it because it saves you an awful lot of time. Now if we try to delete this table now, the system will not let us do it because we have objects that are dependent on it. So what you would have to do is find those programs, take some course of action to either edit the code, take out references to the table or remove the programs completely before you could then come back and delete this table. So what we will do is change the table name and we'll use the Z-Employees 3 table that we created in the previous videos, and we will choose to delete this table. As you can see, we're presented with a message box telling us that the table contains data. And we know this, but we just want to delete the table anyway. If you click the green tick button, we will be taken back to the previous screen and the table would not be deleted. But if you click the little trash can, the table will get deleted. And now we have the confirmation message at the bottom saying the table was removed. If we try and display it, we can see it does not exist. Now, one final note is that now we've deleted the table, we cannot undo this process. The table has gone completely. So before you click that trash can button, make sure you do want to delete the table.